Merry Christmas from the Gruppetto. Let's get started with our special Christmas edition, and we go to Madrid, to the capital of Spain, for the Vuelta A Espana presentation, where our reporter on the ground was Laura Meseguer.
Merry Christmas to all of you. I'm in La Vuelta A Espana presentation. Next year edition of La Vuelta A Espana has been presented in Madrid in a very special anniversary. The Vuelta A Espana turns 90 years old in 2025, and there has been many past winners of this race, such as 1974 Agustín Tamames or Marino Lejarreta, Pedro Delgado, Abraham Olano, Roberto Eras, Alberto Contador, Fabio Aru, Nairo Quintana or Chris Froome. This walk through history is the common thread of next year edition that will visit iconic climbs such as Cerler, Valdezcaray, Farapona, Angliru, and the great attractive for next year, La Bola del Mundo, ahead of the last stage in Madrid. 10 summit finishes, also 2 time trials, 1 team time trial and an individual time trial in Valladolid, 20 kilometers, totally flat, are part of these attractives and ingredients for next year edition of La Vuelta A Espana. It's not going to be as hard as last year edition, but for sure it's going to be super exciting with that start in Italy and the finish in Madrid.
Well, it looked as though the climbers had been pretty good this year. Sprinters, well, they got a sack of coal, or maximum, if they're very lucky, 4 sprint stages. 10 summit finishes, 4 nations visited, and of course, Bola del Mundo and Angliru, the beasts, are back. It's a Vuelta of northern Spain, of course, here in the islands, in the Balearics, ignored yet again. In the Canary Islands as well, they've not been there since our mate Sean Kelly won in 1988. It's always difficult to organise a Grand Tour. Do you agree with the Italian start? The transfer from France on the plane? Perhaps they could have ridden there. We'd like to know what you think of the Vuelta 2025 route. Just post it in the comments below. Also in the auditorium was Alberto Contador, a 3-time winner of the race. He gave Laura his thoughts.
Next year edition of La Vuelta A Espana has been presented, and it's going to be a walk through history. 90 years is turning the Spanish Grand Tour, and Alberto, is going to be super interesting. What's your opinion of this overall view we've seen now?
Will be a very beautiful race, and I think very interesting, no, for all the people, because it's 10 final at the top. Two time trials, and also some days that you don't know if we'll arrive the break or not. Will be hard for the riders that want to win the race, because they need to stay concentrated more or less during the 21 stages. But I think that for us will be a beautiful race.
The race goes back to mythical climbs such Cerler or Farapona. You know it very well, and Chris Froome was here and he knows it very well. We have nice memories from that day. Alto del Angliru and Bola del Mundo. Alberto, which are the main attractives of this year's race?
Yeah, I think for me the more important climb of the Vuelta for sure is the Angliru. Angliru, maybe this year arrive a break in front because it's 200k long, but the last climb will be face-to-face between the riders of the GC, and for sure will be a beautiful spectacle. But it's true that it's a very good news that again is La Bola del Mundo. Some year was not possible go there, and this year finally yes. And it's very steep, the road is very hard, it's very bad road, because for up until the top with some part more than 20% will be the perfect final for La Vuelta.
And what about the time trials? We have a team time trial and an individual time trial in Valladolid, 26 kilometers. What do you think about them?
I think that the climbers will be happy. Yeah, 20k, okay, team time trial, and 26 for individual time trial. I think is a good situation, no, for climbers if you analyze the Vuelta with the 10 states that finish at the top.
Well, we are ready, and we cannot wait to be in August and back to La Vuelta a España.
Another former winner present in the auditorium was Chris Froome, perhaps giving us a clue as to his own race calendar and what could be his final year.
What feelings are in your mind right now? I mean, this is special anniversary of La Vuelta a España, to see you all here on the stage and looking back to your history as a cyclist, how it's been.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is the race for me where it all began back in 2011 in terms of riding Grand Tours. And I've got some really special memories, and it was great to see all the history, all the past winners here. And then, of course, to see the route presentation for next year as well.
And what are your memories this year? Well, next year we are going to go back to Farapona and some of the places where you have big fights. Which are the ones that comes to your mind?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, Farapona. We've got Angliru, where it's just brutal. I mean, this was the climb I was never able to win on this climb, but I always have good memories from Angliru. And then, of course, I think probably the hardest stage from next year will probably be Bolo del Mundo on stage 20, which is just going to be brutal. So I mean, this Vuelta is definitely not going to disappoint. I mean, every Vuelta is tough, but this one is especially hard.
And 2022 Vuelta a España was your last Grand Tour, if I'm not wrong. Would you like to come back this year?
Very much so, very much so. I mean, next year will potentially be my last season racing, and to finish at the Vuelta could be a really, really nice way to close the circle, having started the Vuelta to finish at the Vuelta as well. That could be very special also.
How difficult it is to take that decision of retiring?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time. Next year I'm going to be 40, so it was always my goal to be racing until the age of 40. So I'm getting closer to that goal, and I think I can be very happy with everything that I've been lucky enough to achieve in the sport.
But now it's said that age is not just a number.
Yeah, for sure. Age is just a number. But we're definitely getting a lot of really young riders who are getting younger and younger. Seems the average age in the peloton, but no, I mean it's great. It's great to see where the sport is going, and just how fast the sport is evolving.
Would you say it has changed a lot, let's say, since your last victory at the Tour? Has it changed a lot?
Yeah, I think especially the last 5 years we've seen the sports really move forward, especially in terms of the technological advances, the material, everything's just getting faster. And as I said, I think the average age of the peloton is also changing. We're getting much younger riders turning professional and actually able to win races from a very young age.
Are you happy that you've been in the peloton for such a long time that you are able to see these changes?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been really cool to witness it. Not so easy sometimes, but especially after my accident in 2019, I'm really glad to have continued in the sport and had an opportunity to continue doing what I love.
And about next year, Vuelta a España, what do you think about the route? Do you like it?
I mean, like every Vuelta, it's extremely hard, but I think next year is especially difficult. I mean, some of not just the final climbs, but during the stage, there are just so many really hard mountains. So it's going to be a really tough Vuelta. Not so many time trial kilometers, only 2 shorter time trials. But like always, I think the Vuelta never disappoints. It's always going to be a spectacle.
Thank you, Chris. Enjoy your last season. Good luck.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you.
Well, Chris Froome's presence could be a present to the organisers, but who else is going to be there? Jai Hindley and Alex Vlasov should lead Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. That's because Primož Roglic is expected to go to the Giro and the Tour next year. For UAE Emirates, well, I think we can expect Joao Almeida. He said he'd quite like to go. And Tadej Pogačar, possibly. Let's be honest, probably. It's the one he hasn't won yet. He's only turned up once. It was his first Grand Tour in 2019. Didn't do too badly, did he? Finishing on the podium there. Tadej Pogačar, I think we can expect to go to the Vuelta next year. Well, talking of Pogačar, this was the year that he was the biggest giver of gifts out there. Never mind 3 kings. In 2024, there was just one.
Can you tell us secretly where you're going to attack?
On Santa Maria.
81 kilometers to go. Make a note of that number, because Tadej Pogačar, who went on a 50-kilometer solo raid 2 years ago, has taken off and nobody can match his power. It's a long way to the finish here in these epic biblical conditions. All smiles at the top of the final hellish hill for Tadej Pogačar. Every moment recorded for the memory. That was unique. This is Pogačar, and there is nobody at all like him. And well, he looks behind now, he can't see anybody. It's a gap with 34 Ks to go. When he's in this mood and on this form, he is all alone. There is nobody who can match him. At 25 years of age, with another big success. A wave to those who salute him, and we will do the same. You're looking at one of the greatest ever to ride on two wheels, and it's another chapter in an increasingly beautiful story he's writing. Tadej Pogačar, a titan of our times, winning Liège-Bastogne-Liège for the second time in his career. Achieving immortality, winning the Giro D'Italia. Other generations have their heroes. Not every generation has somebody like this. Pink and yellow, Giro and Tour, stage after stage, 6+6, utter domination. And Tadej Pogačar wins the Tour in the greatest style we've ever seen. Parents and grandparents might remember Merckx and Coppi. We have Tadej Pogačar.
This will be his 25th victory in 57 days of racing. This is an era that's being defined by this man, and nobody can take it away from him. He is a phenomenon. He's almost a definition of the word itself. Be proud and be pleased that you're witnessing this with us.
Kasia memories back to July, to a particular day in the southeast corner of France. Not much was meant to happen, but oh my, it did. It was history. Mark Cavendish at his 35th stage win. There is Mark Cavendish following the wheels. He's going to have to go off the wheel of Ackermann if he's going to do it. Marijn van den Berg is there as well. Only now they will start to see the finish line. It's slightly uphill, and there is Mark Cavendish. There is Mark Cavendish through the centre. He's hit the front here. Mark Cavendish is there. There's a crash behind. Mark Cavendish. This is history. This is history. First there was Merckx. Now it's Mark Cavendish standing on the shoulders of giants. The Tour de France and the greatest of all time. One record breaker now stands alone. Mark Cavendish has 35 stage wins, more than anybody who ever came before. Most doubted, he believed, a day he and we will never ever forget. The record belongs to Mark Cavendish. We watch, we enjoy, we sit absolutely stunned.
And stunned is the word. Absolutely stunning the way I've watched Mark Cavendish weave his way through like days gone by. We haven't seen it for a while, and finally Mark Cavendish, elbows out, protected himself all the way, and he just dominated that sprint from even back in 8th, 9th position, and he changed his line away from Jasper Philipsen. He said, I'm going back to the left. I need it to open up for me. He followed the slipstream of Bennett, and as they came around that final bend, the ways parted. Cavendish had a quick look to the side over his shoulder and went with everything he has ever had in those legs, and it's 35 for Cav.
You had that feeling. It looked like it was all coming together. And this is how it did come together. He was positioned, but he followed the wheels himself, Sean.
Yes, we can see him here just, waiting and just looking around, sticking the elbows out, and then, just keeping the position until he needed to kick the sprint. When he felt it was the time to go, when he kicks off. But look at the power he has here also, impressive.
Arms in the air. Mark Cavendish standing on the shoulders of giants, pushing it to new boundaries. going further than anybody had ever gone before. That's the moment. One for the history books. In the women's peloton, it was so difficult to separate things. You had Demi Vollering. She thought Christmas had come early. Well, it had done, too early. She was winning, but in the early part of the season. She couldn't stop winning. Until then, she wasn't. Kopecky was being Kopecky. Longo Borghini winning the Giro d'Italia with a dream home win. And then Kasia Niewiadoma did this.
This is going to come down to a battle of seconds. Kasia Niewiadoma out of the saddle, constantly attacking up the climb. Demi Vollering is going to take the stage at the top of the Alpe d'Huez. What a ride today from the defending champion. She will take the bonus seconds. Vollering makes history at the top of Alpe d'Huez. She takes the stage, and now the clock starts ticking behind. Kasia Niewiadoma has got to take herself to oblivion. She has got to go all in. It's got to be everything that she's got if she wants to save this yellow jersey. Niewiadoma, 34 seconds and counting now for the Polish rider from Canyon Tram. It has got to be the sprint of her life now, up towards the line. Kasia Niewiadoma drives for home. She'll take those bonus seconds on the line. And Kasia, 54 seconds, sees that line ahead of her. Muzin comes over the top. Finishes there in third. Kasia Niewiadoma saves the yellow jersey in the Tour de France Femmes. Alex Swift, what a mighty ride from the Polish rider. That was an Alpe d'Huez ascent for the history books. What a ride. What a climb. We said that this was going to be a day where the women's pro peloton wrote their own history, and it doesn't get much better than that. A battle of seconds on the mighty climb of Alpe d'Huez. And Kasia Niewiadoma, the realization she can now call herself the winner of the Tour de France Femmes avec Swift.
Well, that's that. I've got some Zwifting to do to make room for all the chocolate I'm about to eat. Thanks so much for watching the Gruppetto this year, and thanks for watching on the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe at Eurosport Cycling. Plus, in the comments below, please let us know what you'd like to see on the show in 2025. We'll be back in just a matter of weeks with the start of the brand new season. Until then, though, we wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. It's been a pleasure talking to you every week. Goodbye.